What's up, deck scrubbers? Welcome to the Sakura Pirates. We have an exciting one for you today. We're going to look at Structure Deck 22 and find out which leader will get the most support from it. Stick around to the end though, because I will show you how one of these leaders can have an explosive 31 Don turn. Let's jump in. Structure Deck 22 brings us 17 unique cards, including the leader. No reprints in this set, however, we do have 5 vanillas. We get 2 SRs in this set, like most typical structure decks. We have the Izzo, a 1-cost searcher, which you can also use to trash on your opponent's turn to draw another card. And we have the Oden as the other SR, which we'll cover later in this video. The Structure Deck 22, it's centered around a mechanic of revealing the top card of your deck, and if it's a whitebeard card, you get a effect. These effects are things like card draw and cycling, as well as bounce mechanics. So some of the strong cards in this deck, I believe this one's the strongest. This is a 8-cost event. This event, I Am Moria, reads, Main, if your leader is Whitebeard Pirates, play an Edward Newgate from hand. Then, you may add the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and your leader gets 2000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. 2 very good effects here. Let's have a look at some of the Newgate targets that you could use for this event. We have a 10 cost, 2 9 costs, a 6 and a 7 cost. I don't think it's worth playing out an 8-cost event for a 6 or a 7. The 9-cost Newgate from OPO2 was my first thought, as this gives your leader plus 2000. Now, combined with the event of giving plus 2000, that would be plus 4000. This is like a 2-card combo to give 4000. However, on further examination, the 9-cost Edward Newgate from OPO2 has an additional effect that prevents you from adding life to your hand. Therefore, if you play out the 9-cost from this 8-cost event, you then won't be able to activate the secondary effect of the event. So you'll only still get the plus 2000 from that event. I don't see this one as a great target for the 8-cost, but if you're running a Marco deck, it might still be a viable option if it's the only Whitebeard in hand. What I do think is one of the strongest ones here is the 10 cost, which has 12,000 power and it has a strong on-play ability. Imagine at turn 4 bringing out a 10 cost 12k body with such an oppressive effect. So the other Whitebeard we could have used is the 9 cost Newgate. This one has double attack and an on-play effect that allows you to draw 2 cards if your leader is a Whitebeard type. It's a good card. I'd still be preferencing the 10 cost over this one, however, but you might find the right situation for this one. The card I really want to talk about is this other SR though. This other SR, Oden, has 2 effects. If Oden is removed from your field by your opponent's effect, you may trash 2 cards from your hand instead. This prevents all removal. It's not a once per turn effect either, so if you've got enough cards in your hand, it's staying on board. And why do you want it to stay on board? Because of its second effect. Its second effect is activate main once per turn. Rest 3 Don and return one of your characters to your hand. Set Oden as active. As we've seen from Dofi's lore, bringing a character back to hand is not a negative effect. And restanding an 8k is great. I think all of the effects that's happening here on Oden is really fantastic, and it's also not leader locked. So you could put this into any deck that runs blue. Think about a yellow-blue Nami deck that has lots of card draw and also has access to yellow cards like the Onami, which can apply banish to this card, which could then swing twice. We've got some really powerful plays that we can do with this Oden. I think he's going to be a card which does see play, but maybe not necessarily in a Whitebeard focused deck. So let's look at our leader that we get from this deck. So the leader can activate main once per turn. It reveals a Whitebeard Pirates card from hand. You draw 1 card and add the revealed card to the top of your deck. This is an okay effect. It does allow for consistency to have that whitebeard pirate on the top of the deck to ensure that we get the whitebeard mechanics going. It also gives us somewhat of a pseudo cycle, as if we don't like the card in our hand, we have that ability to swap it out for the top one on the deck. Now there is another potential benefit to this leader. It is Ace and Newgate, and from what we've seen from OP12 so far, is the set could be centered around a leader having 2 characters within it. Possibly this leader will get a further upgrade when OP12 drops. So the new whitebeard leader consistently gives us a whitebeard card on the top of our deck. But we can do this in other ways. Here we have a bunch of cards which can do a similar effect. We've got the Moby Dick. When a character leaves play from an effect, you can draw a card and place a card from your hand onto the top of your deck. This one can be played in advance, and then once the bounce effect or other removing effect takes place, then you can activate this effect to optimize the top of your deck. We have a 1 cost, Thank You for Loving Me. This one here allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal a whitebeard type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the top or bottom of your deck. Now, if you're finding 2 whitebeard cards in the top 3, that would then allow you to put 1 into hand, so you still get to draw a card from the effect. Place maybe the non-whitebeard card on the top, and then, or second from the top, depending on whether you want to activate that whitebeard mechanic this turn or next turn. The next one we're going to look at here is the Ace Blocker. This Ace Blocker allows you to draw 2, then place 2 cards from your hand onto the top or bottom. This is really good once again because it allows you to set up a turn for your next play. We then have Namul here, which has the same effect as Ace, it's just got a lower stat line. And the last whitebeard pirate here we're looking at is the Promo Ace. This Promo Ace is great because it's an activate main, which allows you to play this card prior to the turn that you want to activate it. So activate main, we get to return this card to our hand. We look at the top 5 and place them back on top in any order. Really strong effect for setting up these whitebeard mechanics. The last one I wanted to look at is Teach, the Fallen Whitebeard Pirate. Now, it doesn't have the Whitebeard Pirates type, but it's still one worth considering putting into a Whitebeard deck. So all of these cards can be used with the 8 cost event, but the Moby Dick is probably going to be the hardest one to combine with the 8 cost event because there's going to be a lot more setup required. The next Whitebeard leader I want to look at is Marco. His ability is prime for the Whitebeard mechanic as it's setting up the top of your deck every turn. Marco has long been without his crew. His last notable event was in the OP08 meta and wasn't able to use his Whitebeard name to full effect. Instead, he relied on his power reduction and strong control of the board. Now, with these new Whitebeard cards from Structure Deck 22, Marco's a prime candidate to use both the strong Whitebeard cards from the OP02, OP03 era and these new Structure Deck cards. But now, for the leader that you've been waiting for the most, we have Ace. Ace's ability doesn't actually lend itself to the Whitebeard mechanic very well, as its ability looks at the top 5 cards of your deck and then places the remaining at the bottom, so you won't be able to set anything up here. However, if you pair this leader with the aforementioned cards to set up the top of your deck, you'll still be able to take prime advantage of several interactions from the new Structure Deck cards. Now, if you combine this Ace with Teach, you can place a 5 cost card from your hand to the top of your deck. This would also be giving the 2 needed Don to your leader to activate his effect. What you can do from here is activate your leader's effect and gain life, so the 5 cost will now be, instead at the top of your deck, will be now at the top of your life. Now, usually from Ace's effect, he would be trashing any face-up cards at the end of his turn, so you wouldn't be able to keep this life there. However, now, if you use the 8 cost Whitebeard event, instead of trashing this life, you'll be returning this life back to your hand. So this would allow you to repeat this cycle of playing out a Whitebeard pirate and having that 5 cost character always available to put back at the top of your deck. So you'll be able to cycle without losing life. You'll be able to play this 8 cost event turn after turn without losing any life. However, because you're using Teach, you actually still have 2 Don left to use prior to doing any of these effects. So let's say you play a Kid Ace. Then you'll have a choice of either losing a life this turn and playing out the Kid Ace's effect, or you could stick with your cycling the 5 cost in hand, being able to play out the whitebeard each turn. If you've got enough life left in your life, so if you've got say 3 life left, you'll need to have 2 life in order to activate this 8 cost event. So it might be best that you play out the Kid Ace, use a 5 cost ace from your hand, put it on the top of your deck with the Teach effect, 2 Don onto your ace. Then you'll be able to use that 5 cost ace using your leader ability, placing it in life, activate your Kid Ace to bring that ace to. And once that's concluded, then you would play out your 8 cost event, negging that last life. And perhaps the turn after that might be the one where you start cycling your life and making sure you return that 5 cost to hand. So let's have a look at some of the ace we could choose for the target of our Kid Ace. So here are our aces available. We have the blocker one, which is a good choice for going further defensive in our play. We have the EBO2 ace, which can search for a 2 cost, helping us find a Kid Ace for our next turn. We also have the 7,000 power yellow rush ace, which could be a strong choice if we just want to go hard that turn. And finally, we have a 6 cost ace, which allows you to look at the top of your deck and play a 4 cost or less whitebeard character. This one here would be a gamble, as we won't be able to guarantee what this card is after using our leader effect. We could possibly do a further setup and guarantee what it is if we were to utilize that promo ace, the 3 cost promo ace that we talked about earlier. So here it is, the 31 Don turn. Here's how it works. We start off, we use 2 Don to play our Kid Ace onto the field. We can then activate our Teach that's on the field to bring a 5 cost ace card from our hand onto the top of our deck. We can use the 2 rested Don that we use to play out the ace and put those 2 Don onto our leader. From here, we can then activate our leader effect to look at the top 5 cards of our deck. We know there's a 5 cost ace there now, and we place that face up onto our life. Now from here, we play out the Kid Ace's effect. We trash that kid to play the 5 cost ace on top of our life now onto the field, which gives our leader 2,000 power. Once this ace is on the field, we're looking for the ace that allows us to look at the top card of our deck. We're gambling here. We're trying to find a 4 cost or lower body that we can play out on that turn. If we're lucky, we find the Marco and we have another 6k body on the field. Now what we've used so far is 2 Don to get two 6k bodies onto the field and giving our leader plus 2,000. Now from here, this is where we play out that new 8 cost event, I am Whitebeard, and we play out the 10 cost Whitebeard. The 10 cost Whitebeard now is pressing your opponent so they can't attack you unless they discard 2 cards. The secondary effect of our 8 cost will activate, bring a life to our hand, giving us a further plus 2,000, bringing our leader now to 4,000 power. Now don't forget, your plus 4,000 leader also has 2 Don on it, so this turn it's swinging for 11k while you're setting up a 12k leader and 2 6k leaders. This is a massive turn, and your opponent won't have any answers to this next turn. They won't be able to go for game because of that oppressive effect of the Whitebeard and a 9k leader. Just a couple of 1k counters in hand will get you through to the next turn. So the maths here on the 31 Don is we have 8 plus the 10 plus the 2, we're at 20, plus another 2, we're at 22 now, and then we have another 5 and 4, bringing us to 31. Now, we didn't actually play out the 2 Don for Teach this turn, but what we did get from the Teach was 2 Don recycled back onto our leader, effectively using the 31 Don that turn. Comment below, I'd love to know what you would do. On turn 4, would you go for a setup of this for a turn 5 31 Don flex, or would you be on your turn 4 just going for a nice solid play of this 8 cost event into a whitebeard, dropping a 12k body on turn 4? Let me know what you would do. So let's have a quick recap of the 3 leaders we've looked at. We have the new whitebeard ace leader. It's a 5 life leader. It's going to allow for multiple 8 cost event into whitebeard drops. It's going to provide us consistency to use our whitebeard mechanics, and it's going to be a solid choice all round. Our next one, we've got the Marco. Once again, it's able to utilize this whitebeard mechanic well with its inherent ability to be able to draw a card and then place one from hand on top. You'll always guarantee that you've got the right play at hand. You also have a large pool to take advantage from the older red whitebeard pirates, as well as the newer blue whitebeard pirates from both OP08 and the Structure Deck 22. Our last choice is the ace, which allows you to have these really explosive turns and a lot of creativity within your deck building. It also has a way to play out multiple whitebeards because you're able to cycle through your life with life gaining effects. I'd love to know which one you're most excited about when this Structure Deck 22 lands. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your decks.